You just go on. Some of them, as I mentioned, they have levels. So they're like, oh no, you need 5 invites to see this one picture. But a lot of them are just open. And you can imagine the more sophisticated ones are going to have those walls of protection. And since servers allow, permission to grant access, many use OnlyFans pictures as bait to get others to follow, and invite others to their channels. And there's even a whole subreddit for this called R Discord Nudes on Reddit, where people just are posting, "Hey, look, I have the latest." Because again, it's like it's whack-a-mole. So they're creating it, and then they're taking it down, and they're creating it, and a lot of them ended up being spam and scams that they weren't even providing that material. No one feels sorry for those people. But you basically have like a whole bunch of Discord servers, without any, protection against this. So there's zero protection for this stolen material on the site. And I took the time after writing the blog, and again, you can find this blog at seobounty.com/blog. And I went ahead and set up a change.org petition attached to the blog asking Discord to take action against this. Now, whether or not they will, which is unlikely, but I felt that it was needed to say, okay, this is not acceptable, because, Reddit itself has taken the action of removing subreddits that were primarily directed at stolen OnlyFans material and content. So there is definitely a precedent on this. And as I mentioned, Discord is the Wild West at the moment, but they also were offered recently to be bought for $10 billion. So they probably, when they get bought, will clean up their act. It'll be similar to Tumblr. But, right now you can be pretty assured, and it's very ugly, that your material is probably out there on a Discord server somewhere. And that's a problem. That's bad. And, yes, something else might pop up to replace Discord, on the dark web of people stealing things. And there's no way to ever be 100% against, or protect yourself against this kind of thing. But if you have something that's very popular like Discord, and it just has no policing of this whatsoever, that's a big problem. So again, that was Discord and OnlyFans, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And there's a lot of good here with Discord. There's a lot of ways to use this site to promote yourself, but I wanted everyone to be aware of the full spectrum here. And the biggest takeaway I would say is that if you're going to get on Discord, you have to take it seriously. You have to monitor it. You have to promote it. You have to make it part of your marketing plan. And if it works out for you, I think it can work really well. But you can't just add it like you would add another social channel and say, okay, I'm going to get, a TikTok, and eventually I'll make some videos. If you set up your Discord server, you want to be ready with this information. You want to be ready and knowledgeable with what's going on right away. Okay, so now to our listener question of the week. All right, so a listener from Fort Worth, Texas asks, is it ethical to sell custom content that is old and that then put it on my wall or for PPV, which means pay-per-view, after the original buyer is no longer a subscriber? Okay, so what she's asking is that, can she resell this custom content because the person is no longer around? I would say yes. If the item doesn't include, their name, so for instance, for some reason you said their name or, had their name somewhere in the video or picture, I would say they don't have the expectation of it being exclusive forever. So, you can certainly change your charges in the future mentioning exclusivity. If you feel an ethical pull towards this, you could say this content will be $20, or if it's exclusive forever, it'll be $30. However you want to price that, and then that person will know that chances are you're going to end up reusing the content, but they want it anyway. So that way you don't have the ethical dilemma. And I really just don't think that you should hold on to content, especially if it's good and you feel like you can put it on your wall. It can help you in some way. If you already, promote yourself on places like Reddit, and this picture might, or Twitter, and this picture could, help you there because it's a really good picture, you might also consider using it primarily for marketing now that it's kind of been, quote unquote, used for that, and then put it out there. But I don't think that someone would have the thought process that picture would be exclusive forever. And the chances of them honestly ever seeing that picture or seeing you again, if they've unsubscribed from OnlyFans, is pretty unlikely. Okay, so as I mentioned, I would update you guys on what's been going on in the last week. We definitely, we began 2 weeks ago doing promos on at OnlyFans Hero on Twitter. That's been going great. I've actually started looking and building up our OnlyFans podcast Twitter as well to do promotions there, and a couple of other Twitters as well to kind of just build up our promotion, which has all been going really well. And I've also been devoting a lot of time to my website as far as building that up, and I'm going to have a lot of cool things coming to the website. I can give you a few hints. One is going to be a creator creator services directory. So one of the big goals for the podcast has been accountability for services that are going to be offered to OnlyFans creators and fan site creators in general. And the one thing is that there's no place where you can just go and say, oh, okay, I want to buy a promotion, or I want to buy a service. What is this company rated, or what do OnlyFans creators think of this particular company? So I'm definitely working right now on building that out, as far as being able to have a place where there can be reviews for the different services. That way people will know whether or not, a whole bunch of different creators have not gotten, what was said from that particular business. And that way we'll have, kind of a hub for that. I've also been working pretty hard on Quora, a site that does questions and answers. And I realized that we could build a question and answer area into my site for SEObounty.com as far as questions and answers for OnlyFans creators. And subscribers too. So we're building out a question and answer area as well right now. Now, I don't know how long it's going to take for these to come out, but I just wanted to kind of give you guys an idea on that. And I've continued to work, as last week's episode was about letsdiscoverme.com being a scam, and I've continued to work on letting people know about that. It will not be going away. So I definitely have been reaching out to other sites that talk about, scams, and other Twitters that talk about scams. And, I am continuing to pursue that, and with the goal of them not being around. And a really observant listener contacted me. Actually, I had two different really cool listeners contacted. One person who noticed that all of the same kind of bot site or bot Twitter accounts that follow all the Let's Discover Me accounts also follow OnlyFans Date and OnlyFans Celebrity on Twitter, which means they're part of the kind of what I would just call like Twitter promo scam network that they're running. That's how they're getting, even larger. And then another person reached out to me to told me that they could go in London to where they supposedly Let's Discover Me is located, and they would let me know if they really were located there. I hadn't heard back from him. I told him to be safe. But if he is listening to this podcast, reach back out to me, because I definitely do want to know how they are in a hotel room in the Victoria Station Hotel, if that's where they are. Kind of a sketchy place for a business to be. But, hey. But again, you guys can find a lot of what I've talked about at seobounty.com/blog. I'm still very much working on the seobounty.com website. It's so much in the works. So if you go to different pages, they're still definitely building that out. And I'm building out the Twitter services, as I mentioned. I have a lot of ideas for that as well. So for creators, so stay tuned. I'll continue to update you guys on the podcast, and I just thank you guys for listening to this episode. And as always, you can find this podcast on Instagram at OnlyFans Secrets Podcast. You can also find us on Reddit at r/OnlyFans Secrets. And as always, we are on OnlyFans.com/OnlyFans Hero. Please subscribe and follow for free on there for the latest updates on this podcast. We're also on TikTok at OF Secrets Podcast. And as always, we are on Twitter at OnlyFans Hero, where we run daily. Actually, we're doing hourly promotions now. I've switched the promo up a little bit so I can concentrate on some of the other promotions, especially the podcast promotion, which you probably are seeing now. It's the logo now says OnlyFans Secrets, and I've been working on that because I felt it was important both to do the promo for OnlyFans Secrets as well as, help with creators so they'll be able to see that the podcast exists. So it works in both ways. So you can reach out to me directly at OnlyFans Hero on Twitter if you have any questions about the podcast, any questions, about OnlyFans, or if you want to include, a question for the next week's episode, please do so. And as always, I really appreciate you guys listening to this podcast, and continuing to support it. And as I mentioned, you can find even more information at my website, seobounty.com. And again, I'm Richard Lewis, and I really appreciate you listening. Please continue to do so. If you have an opportunity to leave a review for this podcast, please do so, as it helps other people find that this podcast exists. And I hope you guys all have a great week.